They were caught on camera, but not in Korea, not in Japan, and not for a solo comeback. So, who is the mysterious figure they met in New York? Why does Jimin look like he's holding back tears, and why does Jungkook look like he's holding back anger? Is it about music, or about secrets that have been hidden for too long? Jimin and Jungkook caught in New York. Who was the unexpected figure they met? A story that blurs the line between fact, fear, and truth that eventually comes crashing down like a hurricane. And oh, unexpected.
Not on that day.
Not at Gimpo Airport, and certainly not in the heart of New York City. But on a seemingly ordinary morning, two figures the world has long missed, Park Jimin and John Jungkook, appear. But not on stage, not in comeback teasers, and not in Korean television shows like the ARMY dreamed of. They appear in unexpected places, in more questioning than answering situations. And more surprisingly, it's not about the music. It's not about the album. It's about someone. What the hell is going on? Why were two idols who were still in military service suddenly seen crossing the world in silence? And the biggest question of all, who is the stranger they met in New York, with a facial expression that made even the camera feel inappropriate to capture? Their images spread quickly. Unlike usual, this picture does not present a friendly smile or a professional pose. There was no two-finger greeting or Jimin's signature eye smile. There is no typical indifferent style of Jungkook. What was captured on camera was the tension. Jimin was seen speaking in a restrained tone to someone whose face was deliberately blurred by an amateur camera, while Jungkook, standing on his left side, gritted his jaw and looked like he was trying to control something. Emotions? Frustrated? Or maybe. The truth, speculation flooded social media like an unstoppable wave. Is this a meeting with an international producer? Is this a negotiation for a new subunit? But something about the pictures feels too personal, too emotional, too painful. Some fans have speculated that Jimin and Jungkook are meeting someone from their past, someone who has long been away from the camera spotlight but holds the key to many unanswered puzzles about their journey as individuals and as part of BTS. Wild theories mention big names in the industry, former managers, to figures from the international music scene who were once close to one of them. But one name keeps popping up, whispering from the corners of fan forums. Someone who was once part of their creative process, who came out quietly after an internal conflict that was never officially discussed. If the allegations are true, is this meeting a reconciliation? Or is it just a final confrontation before they return to Korea and welcome June 11th? The date of their release from military service, and why did both choose New York, a city filled with eyes and ears? Why didn't they choose a more hidden place like Tokyo, which is much closer than Korea and makes more sense from the logistical side? The answer may be hidden in the word restricted permit, because as is well known, South Korean military rules allow travel out of the country only for really important and listed reasons. So, for what exact reason did they get permission to go to New York? Suspicions were further strengthened when it became known that one of them, Jungkook, had recently experienced an incident of almost being broken into by Saesiengs in his private home. Is this part of the escape from pressure? Or part of a tacit attempt to get things done before all gets back to normal? And speaking of normal, what exactly does normal mean for two people who have lived under the spotlight since adolescence? Who grew up not just as a star, but as a symbol, which, even in its silence, remains a topic of world conversation. As the news spread, many fans highlighted one thing: Jimin's teary eyes. Not a dramatic cry, not the obvious sobs, but the look that seemed to say, "I never wanted this to be public." A fragile sense that can only be understood by those who really know him. And that's where this question comes in. What hurts so much that Jimin looks like that, even in the crowd of a city that never sleeps? Meanwhile, Jungkook's expression invites a very contrasting interpretation. He looks like a wall. Firm, hard, but clearly holding something that wants to explode. Some amateur videos capture a moment where he raises his hand toward the camera, not angrily but firmly, as if to say, "Stop. This is not for you." Is it about someone making their old wounds open again? Or about a truth that can no longer be hidden? And amid all the confusion, one thing again left fans speechless. They are back together. Amid all the questions, all the injuries, All the rumors about distance and conflict, Jimin and Jungkook stood side by side. Maybe not smiling, maybe not hand in hand, but stand together. Some fans speculate that this journey is not about a career, but about the end of something that can never really begin. About completing the knot of the past that has so far been closed with the phrase later. But when does that later really come? And why did this trip happen on the eve of June 11th? Is there anything they will announce after leaving the military? A project? Or a confession? Furthermore, a fan account from Japan uploaded a picture of a flight ticket to New York under the fictitious name of an alleged logistical alter ego often used by HYB's management to disguise BTS members' travels. If true, it means that this departure has been planned long ago. But for what? One music industry analyst said, this trip may not be just for personal matters. Too risky, too flashy, too emotional for something simple. But aren't the emotional ones often inexplicable logically? And right now, speculation is going wild. Some mentioned that they were settling a legal matter with someone from the past. Some mentioned that there was involvement from overseas parties trying to buy creative rights to BTS's old works. Some even believe that this is related to a personal message from Jimin a few years ago that seemed to say goodbye in the song, but was never discussed directly. All of these questions lead us to an even deeper question. Do we really know them? Or have you always just loved the shadows shown to the camera? Because if this picture in New York is a real picture of what has been happening backstage, then we are witnessing not just the transition from service to freedom, but the transition from sweet lies to truths that we may not want to hear. And here we stand, asking, speculating, hoping that whatever they do in New York, whatever they finish, whoever they meet, it will bring peace to two names that for too long have shouldered the hopes of the world. The question is now, what will happen after this? Will June 11th be the beginning of a new chapter, or will it be the last confession before they actually choose their respective paths? And most importantly, who is that unexpected figure? The real answer will probably never be officially announced. But one thing is certain, this trip was not without reason. And we just saw the surface. But the closer we get to the core of this puzzle, the more blurred the line between truth and perception becomes. One image can hold 1,000 meanings, and one moment can be the explosion of a wound that has been tightly hidden. Is that what's really going on behind Jimin's eyes? A wound? Or a necessity to survive in the midst of a storm that he himself was no longer sure would subside? And why does Jungkook, who usually appears calm even in the craziest situations, now look like someone who just heard something he shouldn't have heard? Another video from the other side of the street shows a moment in which he appears to hold Jimin's hand for a moment, only to release it seconds later, with an expression that even words cannot describe. Not anger, not fear, not disappointment, but some kind of awareness. The realization that something has just changed forever. Suddenly, all their songs sounded different. The lyrics, about friendship, about promises kept, about togetherness despite the hurt, all now sound like recordings from a heart that wanted to talk, but was never given a stage. And now, on a noisy New York street, the truth has finally come. Not in the form of a press conference, not in V-Live form, but in silence, in the gaze, in the steps they choose to travel together, although no longer in the same rhythm. What was so big that they had to fly that far, defying military rule, for the sake of one encounter? Is this really a private matter? Or is there something deeper, more strategic, that even HYB can't control? There was one small detail that almost went unnoticed by the media. The presence of a man in all black, standing a few meters from them, who was captured by one of the cameras of fans from Japan. This figure is seen talking briefly with Jungkook before the two look towards Jimin. Then the man left first, and a few minutes after, Jungkook appeared to hit the back of his own hand hard, a gesture that could mean frustration. Who is this man? Is he part of their past? Is he the reason why Jimin looks so fragile? And if so, why did they choose to finish it now? A former staffer who worked with BTS on a global project several years ago and asked not to be named, stated that one major project was put on hold due to tensions between one of the members and an overseas creative partner. Is this a meeting aimed at completing the project? Or maybe cancel it completely? Also, why just Jimin and Jungkook? Why is there no Taeil, RM, or Jin visible in this movement? Is this a personal decision? Or a representative of something larger, perhaps a unit formed secretly? Or is this the end of the duo that ARMY has always loved, not just because of their voice? We are witnessing a new chapter being written. No script, no official cameras, no choreography. Just two friends, two brothers, two men who have gone through a storm together and now have to face something that even they themselves are not sure they can go through. Suddenly, the world stopped breathing. Jimin and Jungkook, known as BTS's golden duo, not just for their vocal and dance skills, but for their emotional closeness that always seemed authentic, now stand in an enigmatic spot. It's as if the world wants to know just one thing. What are they solving in this foreign city? It's not just fans who are curious. Korean media began to move quietly. Reporters from various major outlets began collecting snippets of information from airport staff, longtime managers, and even the waiters of the hotel where they allegedly stayed in Midtown Manhattan. One of the anonymous reports said that the two checked in using pseudonymous identities, accompanied by one person from the agency. But just a few hours later, they came out of the hotel without escort, just the two of them, without a mask, without a hoodie, no intention of hiding. Dio, they want to be seen? Do they have to be visible? One eyewitness said that before the mysterious meeting took place, Jimin was seen calling someone while sitting alone in a cafe near Central Park. No one knew who he was contacting, but from his body language, it was clear that something was heavy. A few minutes later, Jungkook arrived. They talked for a while, then set off on foot. Their goal, an old building that is no longer used as a music studio, but is still listed as the property of one of the international composers who worked with BTS at the beginning of their global career. Did they meet the same people? Does this have anything to do with past conflicts that have been covered up by management and the media? Theory after theory kept popping up, but no one could explain their expressions as they exited the building. Jimin is down. Jungkook looked straight ahead, as if he wanted to leave all the shadows behind him. One of the cameras captured Jimin's lip movements, allegedly saying, "I don't know what else to say," while Jungkook appeared to be holding something back behind his blank stare. His hands are clenched, his shoulders stiffened, and one more thing, they did not talk to each other while walking back to the hotel. Is that a sign that the meeting actually brought a rift? Or, on the contrary, too painful to discuss in a public place? An ARMY member who has been following them since 2013 wrote a line that went viral in a matter of hours. "They look like two people who just finished a chapter they don't want to ever write." This sentence became a reflection of many feelings that fans felt. Because it wasn't just Jimin and Jungkook who grew up, ARMY also grew up with them. And to see them in these conditions, away from the spotlight, away from the cheers, just two human beings who look tired of facing the world, is heartbreaking. We forget that behind the military clothes and the magnificent stage, they are two young people who are forced to mature too soon, who have to bear the weight of expectations, images, and questions about the future to which they do not even know the answers. Now the question is, are they okay? Because the last picture circulating shows Jimin standing on the balcony of their hotel room, looking at the city with a blank expression, while Jungkook sat leaning against the window, closing his eyes. The camera doesn't come close. No cheers. Just shut up. And from that silence, thousands of interpretations emerge. Some suggested that the two may be preparing to announce something that will shake up the industry. A final project. A statement. Even some fans, who are classified as pessimistic, mention the possibility of a long hiatus or the dissolution of the subgroup unit, which they have been quietly building. But one thing that makes everything even more complicated is the fact that there is no clarification, no upload from them, no explanation from HYB. Just quiet. And it was from that silence that speculation went wild. Some fans began attributing their presence in New York to HYB's secret meeting with an international music company that was trying to acquire distribution rights to some of BTS songs. Were Jimin and Jungkook present to oppose the decision? Or just to agree to it on certain conditions? What makes it all the more painful is the fact that not all BTS members are in the same position right now. Some are still active in military service. Some are in solo projects. And these two people, who had been known as the inseparable Magne line, suddenly appeared in a foreign city with an aura that could not even be explained by any media. Were they really hiding, and why now? Why in New York? Why